Welcome back, traders. This is Sandra with Trading Made Simple. I'm an automation fiend. I love automation. I really love to backtest strategies. I'm an all-around trader. I do premium selling. I go directionals. Finding a backtesting software that is easy to use for the retail trader is your niche with Option Omega. Tell the audience about Option Omega and what makes it so good. As a regular trader, to me, it's simplicity. Everything has to be simple. Option Omega backtesting product for retail traders.
I think without going into a huge history lesson, when we started, we launched in spring of 2022, right before dailies came out on SPX. And at the time, there wasn't a backtester in the retail market that had high resolution data. The other founders of the company had been running backtests and trading live, and they were using like really low, like once a day, low resolution data. And so just doesn't cut it. And then zero DTE SPX options came around in May and a whole new world opened up. People had been doing premium selling, but it just went into overdrive. The product's been public for over 3.5 years, and we have an amazing amount of risk management tools built into the backtester as far as simulating different things. Amazing amount of ways you can modify and adjust backtests. You can run backtests in up to 20 at a time in a portfolio. There's a variety of ways to beat up your backtests, make them more realistic.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that's what we've done and continue to iterate on it. We had a release this morning for the automation platform, but in the next week, there's going to be some updates to the backtester. We have, I would say the things that were thought of for most predominantly zero DTE premium selling. We have intraminute data for people to backtest stops, and we do a lot of time spreads as well. Diagonals, double diagonals, calendars, double calendars. Those are kind of two different extremes of option trades. 95% of our backtests are probably SPX or trading index options.
Before we dive into the next trade setup, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Sandra. I teach everyday traders how to use automation to trade smarter. If that sounds like your style, make sure to subscribe and check out the resources in the description to get started.
So very sophisticated retail traders who are trading. Even one SPX contract can be some money.
Oh, absolutely.
Even in a spread. We have some other tickers on the backtester, but it's really focused on SPX and, just very liquid products, because that's what most of our market, sophisticated retail people, that's what they're doing.
Do you want to bring up your platform and maybe we can do a quick tour? And then I'm just going to tell the audience out there while you do that, backtesting for, if you're an experienced trader, you know how important backtesting is. When we talk about sector rotation or we talk about choppy environments and what are the tools that, traders typically use in order to kind of identify the marketplace and what kind of strategy that you would use. So this is really important to real experienced traders. And there wasn't until optionomega.com came about, there wasn't really a tool that a retail trader could use to really analyze their data in such a way and so quickly that will give them the results that they need to become confident to make a trade. Well, as soon as I found this product, I loved it. We have an affiliate relationship with Option Omega. If you use TMS for Trading Made Simple, you will get a discount.
It's 50% off your first year, and that applies to, there's basically 4 choices of how you can subscribe. You can subscribe to backtesting or automation. The automation tier includes backtesting. Either plan is available in monthly or annual. You can start monthly and switch to annual. You can move back and forth, upgrade or downgrade. You can do all this yourself in the app. And that coupon will work for the first 12 months, either subscription tier that you want to try.
I just want to say that, thank you for that, by the way, Matt, because that is a really nice discount for our members or the people that follow us. I mean, that's a huge discount, and I appreciate you giving them such a great deal. The thing that I found most attractive about this service, the reason that we're doing this interview is because Option Omega just introduced, when you create a strategy that you took all that time to backtest, now you can actually just create an automated bot trade for you. And so this is like a one-stop shop. I love what you did to it. Give us a quick tour and tell us what you do.
I'm just pulling up this back test because I looked at it this morning. We have a YouTube show every morning, and this is the one that was on the show. So
Right.
I'm pretty familiar with it. This is a 1-2 double calendar that goes on Wednesday mornings. And it's a back test that goes back to the start of SPX dailies, which was May of 2022. You can save and share back tests. And then it's really easy. You just click new backtest to create them. If you have a backtest pulled up already like this one, it is already pre-populated. So if I wanted to take this backtest and make a change, let's just say I wanted to backtest selling 20 delta on both the calls and the puts in this calendar, I can hit 20 delta, run it, and it's going to run that backtest the same as it was, just changing it to 20 delta. So it's very quick. The backtest engine has different ways you can adjust the funds. There's different entry conditions. For instance, if we wanted to change the time to 9:35, you just change the time, hit run. Again, we are working in this test, so everything was pre-populated. We started with a saved back test. You can look at and compare different iterations. This back test at 9:35 had an 8% capture rate, 55% win rate, 3.2 MAR. You can click on it and see the comparisons. Premium capture rate, almost identical. Win rate, very similar. CAGR and MAR in the same ballpark. So you can workshop your own back tests extremely quickly. And if you want to save a back test that you found, you can do that super easily as well. We'll just save a back test and we're going to call this 20 delta. If I wanted to save and share that back test with a friend who is an OO subscriber, I can send them. This is a live demo, so there's always a little risk. I think I have this account. I don't have this linked up to a brokerage account, but it's super easy. If I did to create a strategy that would trade on the automation platform, I would literally just click this button and click is active. And then all the conditions and stuff are brought over. So there's still a couple things that people will probably want to configure their execution on the entry and the exit, but you click save after you've set up all the details that you want. It's all based on whatever the user wants. And then that would be live on the platform. You can't share strategies. We kind of have that on purpose. Like you have to do a little bit of work. It's pretty intuitive turning a backtest into a strategy.
Once you do that, it'll say, do you want to go ahead and sign up for this service? It's a real easy sign up page, takes you right back to your strategy. And then you can say, hey, go ahead and start this. You know, if the trade, and in fact, this one is open. Is this open daily? Yeah, this would open.
Yeah, this is I switched it up on you. This is a different one here, but this is the 0 DT. This is actually a long condor on 0 DTE. But just to show, again, since dailies, just to show some different things, this one is based on a floating entry and it's got a VIX intraday move trigger. So like this back test, we can look at the back test and see that it will run 10:33. There were a couple where the trigger was already met at 10:30, but sometimes 10:35, 12:02, sometimes it's not met. So it'll enter the back test later. It's looking over a range of 2 hours for this condition to be met. So there's so many things that you can customize to dial in the robustness of your back test. We tried to make the UI very easy, very intuitive. It's got tons of tool tips. Can you see the docs, big white page? So we've got a whole website called docs.optionomega.com, which you can get to from the main site. This will walk you through every single parameter in the back test. Same thing with the automation platform. We've got a bunch of stuff in the how to set up and dial in your back test or your strategy. And we've also got a couple courses on our academy, which are free, of how to use the back tester if you're more of a visual learner. And we have a Discord community, which has support staff from Option Omega all the time. So a lot of different ways to help people get the most out of whatever they're looking to do.
Absolutely. So, and I'm a client of your service. I just found this to be one of the easiest, probably the only tool available to a retail trader that likes, especially for advanced strategies like calendars, iron condors, and credit spreads, and be able to backtest. If you have that type of mind where you're analyzing market conditions and identifying when it's good to put on a trade and when it's not. Should I put this on daily at a specific time frame? Or only on Wednesdays, because the Wednesdays for the last, let's say, 3 months really proved to be well in this market environment, you could fine tune your trading strategies to get a better sense of our current market environment variables, in this case, like the VIX or a time of day
Yes.
or a day of week. These are all variables that a trader would utilize to make the conditions perfect for this trade to become successful. And
Yep.
over time, still this strategy working for you, making you hopefully a passive income. Now, originally, when I was utilizing this, you do your back test, then you would take that data and try to go to a third party system and then
Yep.
enter the specific data that you use to back test. And what
Yeah.
people found, or at least what I found, was like, wow, I did this perfect back test. I have this great strategy. And yet the third party software that I'm using to actually place the trade didn't have these excellent variables that I could
Yeah.
plug in.
We
And I don't know if it was because you had heard that so many times that you were like, you know what? We're going to just create our own trading bot so that the back test could go right to
well
automation. And
well, thank you. I did not build the tool, so I will take no credit for it. We launched, I think, March 15th, 2022, within a week. I know who our first customer is. They're still active in the community. Within a week, somebody asked, can we bot this? At first, can they set up a program to iterate the back tests for them? And then they're like, no, 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 no. I want to click a button and have it trade in my brokerage. And we were like, oh, okay. This platform, we launched it in June. I was the first user, the first pre-alpha tester. I'm coming up on being on it in a year. I've been on the automation platform with OO for, I think I started the end of August. So just about a year. And what we really wanted was a seamless experience from backtesting to automation. We didn't want any sort of translation error where people think this means something different than it means. The architecture of the systems is congruent. It functions the same way. A lot of people trade opening range breakouts in OO, and we've had that for years. When it was first suggested, I didn't understand the depth of how many people traded orbs, but we've had it for a couple of years now. The number one question on the automation platform, can I do a certain type of thing? They'll say, I want to trade an orb the same way I do on the back tester. And I'm like, that's how it works. It works the same. We built it that way. So here's an orb. In the last 30 days, it's been a good time to trade orbs. You could automate this if you want, and it would function the same way. The most common question is, how similar are the back tests and the automation platform? And I'll say it like this. When I started using it, and when the other guys in the company started using it, we tracked all of our automation. I have a whole spreadsheet, and I started tracking entry slippage, entry time, strikes. It was so close that I just stopped doing it.
right.
And now I just tell people that, and I don't feel I need to explain it or defend it because there's so many people using the platform, and they'll just tell you. People think automation is like a genie. It's not a genie. It's not magic. It's just automation. So the automation tool is going to do whatever I tell it to do, or not to do what I tell it not to do.
Exactly.
And the biggest thing, there is a learning curve with customizing how you dial in your strategies as far as entry slippage, as far as like entry and exit slippage in the back test correspond to entry and exit execution parameters in the automation tool. There's a lot of granularity in how people do the different order types in automation as well.
Right.
And so we offer a couple different order types in the automation tool. The learning curve with automation is figuring out how to dial in that stuff. But again, there's a ton of people in the community that
become pretty close to it.
And we've seen a lot of different stuff. The point is that there's probably somebody who can walk you through if you have a question about either backtest or strategy.
Anytime I've had a question, whether I reached out via email or the Discord, always get them answered. I think for a lot of people out there, if you're not familiar with backtesting, let me just say that, when you do something on a simulated platform, it's not exactly like a real platform. The time that trade gets executed is prime on a simulated platform. Typically, in a real platform, you're going to have a delay of maybe 1 or 2 seconds. With that said, you're going to have slippage. The conditions are often really nice on a simulated platform. It helps you gain confidence in what you're doing. But on a real platform, it does react differently. However, I teach automation on thinkorswim as well as IBKR, an automation expert on those platforms. That when you are trading on a simulated platform and those conditions are happening, me and Matt could be on a simulated platform doing the same exact trades with the same exact variables, and we could get different results. And that is just true.
A real life trade is an auction. It's participating in an auction. A back test is a simulation.
That's a
I mean, that's just what it is.
That's a really nice way to frame it so that people can get the sense of it, because I get this question all the time. And so, your edge really is the strategy. And that strategy includes the opening range breakout. It includes it happening daily at a specific time. All of those variables create this strategy. So the fact that you can test it out during certain market environments and change up those environments to see how it would relate in the future or past is really mind-blowing and is one of the best tools you could utilize, especially for a premium seller.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that people recognize that, using a simulated platform is important to gain confidence in your strategy. As you do it for real, you might see some differences, but over time, strategy is still in place. With automation, still in place. So
that's exactly right.
If you have a winning trend, the real trades, as an example, the real trades may be different than the simulator. However, if the trend is going up in the real trading, it's going to be also going up. You're also going to see that. If your simulator is showing a losing trend, believe me, if you were to trade that strategy, you're going to have a losing trend. Will the numbers be exact? No, they won't be exact. But like we just said, even if we were both trading in a real platform, Matt and I with the same exact strategy, and we said, go, oftentimes the slippage is different. The timing might be a little different, which causes a stop out or a different price to entry, which then moves that stop loss differently than the next.
And there is, the way I think about it is the automation platform, our back testing, if it's a good, robust test, it's a solid strategy, somebody automates it, they're going to have over a long period of time, it's going to be very close. I have never had a robust back test that has been a significant deviation from a live trade that I couldn't explain. And they're very, very rare. But in 2023, SIBO had a auction stop, right? Like the market
stop. Yeah.
The options market broke. That happened a couple times in 2023. The point you made that's the most important, and this is what we've heard from people, is if you have a back test and it gets out for 7% and your automation gets out for 8%, great. But the next time your automation may lose 9%, your back test may only lose 6%. Okay. Well, if you group that into a large number of examples, I'm coming up on a year here. The reason I can say this confidently is because I'm looking at my own experience. We're not just the company, we're also the clients. We're using it too. We're drinking our own milkshake. I have a strategy that probably just went on a minute ago at like 3:00. I have a bunch active right now. Over a long period of time, the difference between backtesting and automation, as long as they're both dialed in like a sensible way, it's going to get smaller and smaller the longer you go. That's what we've observed.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what people want.
There are studies that talk about the positives with automation, the differences in the real platforms and the simulation, and how over time they average out. Not exactly, but it certainly smooths out the trend or the account balance, so to speak. This was a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah.
Is there anything specific that, as far as you looking at this product and saying, we nailed it, like we did such a great job. We have a back tester and trade automation all built into one platform, making it real simple for your clients. What's your next update?
We just released a feature today, which is a kind of granular one. It's a automatic closing of the longs when a short put gets closed, credit spread. So there's a lot of people trading 0DTE that want to use a resting stop order sitting at a broker or the exchange, a resting stop order at the broker. And then when that order gets hit, to automatically trigger a sale of the market long to recover some capital. So that just came out today. That was actually a pretty big feature. And we have some more stuff on the horizon. I'll just say this. we actually have a whole separate website for feature requests on canny.io. And we have hundreds of feature requests on there. We have a very opinionated and vocal community, which we love. And that's actually what we use to decide what we're going to work on. This feature was the most requested feature we have. So that's what we worked on. We go through the cannies on a regular basis and classify them. But we literally have meetings where we get together and say, do you hear the people sing?
What did they ask me for?
So
we do.
We actually haven't done that. I know there's a couple small things in the pipeline. We haven't taken a shot at another big feature because we're going to try to make sure this is well supported and the rollout goes well this week, but that'll be coming up soon. If I could just boil down what OO is, because people wander in without a lot of experience backtesting. Our goal is that you build a test, you have high confidence. And if people wish to automate it, we are a one-stop shop. And there are so many tools. We're really bad at marketing. I'm terrible at marketing. And I'll just give you the anti-hype talk, because YouTube is full of people that are like, I took a penny and turned it into a house. You know, like that's a YouTube video. Yeah. I traded this charger, this Amazon USB-A charger, and I ended up with a Lambo. Like this, the hype, we live in a hype world. We're the anti-hype people. Right. So if you come to us with a back test, we're going to try to help you tear it down, right, make sure that it's robust. And the reason we do that is so that you can have confidence that when you go to trade it live, you have an understanding of the different ways that this can lose. Here's what can happen. And here's some of the things that can go wrong. We can't predict. Backtesting by definition is backward looking. We don't know what they're going to do. You can build robust and rigorous backtests on Option Omega. And if you learn a couple of the ways to do it, you can do it very quickly. And then if you want to automate them, we've got that too.
Well, I think it's excellent for me to come in and recommend you. For those people that know me, I teach automation, and the first thing I do is get you on a simulated platform, run those trades, and we're going to fine tune our automations for market conditions. We do this week in and week out. Right now, we have a program where we just set our automations up, 1 hour a weekend and let those ride through.
Wow.
It's a simple system, just using the market.
Simple is good. The biggest productivity boost that I've had in the last couple of years, when I started automating my trades in August on this platform. I've used automation before, but when I went all in, I started with just a one lot. We were still building the platform, so I was testing it. The amount of mental, not just time, but headspace that freed up for me was like, I couldn't go back. I couldn't take automation away. I wouldn't want to trade manually.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, once you do it, it frees. The system works. It's so free. Yeah.
And I'm not telling people to put the system on and then get on an airplane for 10 hours and all. It's automation. It's trading. It's options. There are risks. Systems don't always work, but the execution of the platform, as far as the safety rails that I have built into the strategies, and also the automation of the entry and exit. So if I have to take a shower at 10:37, I've got a trade that goes on, I can jump in the shower real quick. I don't have to see her like I used to do.
That's right.
And watch top of the minute. Are my strikes right? I didn't get filled. Let me adjust. Didn't get filled. Got filled. Now I got to send an alert in toss or an alert in IB when this level hits, do this or do that. Right. Or it's crazy. So it's it frees up a lot of headspace.
Oh, totally.
A lot of time and headspace.
In being able to participate in the market, hopefully your strategy, is garnering a profit.
Yes.
We just came up to doing this 1 hour a weekend. We have our log on the website, guys, tradingmadesimple.org, where we put on our trades, let it play out. And we started last July, 1 year anniversary here on that log. And we made over, I think, 130% in 1 year.
Oh my gosh. That's unbelievable.
Of our watch list, we have our trigger levels. We're automating that every Sunday night with our clients.
That's awesome.
This, I think, for any trader to learn a strategy and backtest it and then have it already linked, this is a great way to do that. I encourage anybody wanting to really start to backtest and utilize an automated system. This is a great, basically third-party software, runs off the browser. It's not going to clog up your computer. There are a lot of companies out there that want to put some sort of software on your desktop, on your hard drive. I wouldn't recommend it. this is great where it runs off the browser. It's not eating up your memory. It's not slowing down your computer. It lives in the cloud, very easy to use. And to me, simplicity is the way to go. Matt, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll see you next time.